Okay, well I'm trying to like follow the railway line, or the old railway line from Killarney through a little ways, and this is called Grayson Siding Road, and I believe it's called that because railways have sidings. Anyway, I think that that's the side of the old track. I'm just going to go over there in a minute, and you can see that there's a line of trees along a ridge line there, which makes sense because this area will flood. And that's the place that you would put a railway line if there was, you know, risk of it flooding, and there is, and you wanted regular transport, which you do, to Killarney and Yangan. And I think that that's the line of the road over there. It's pretty obvious back further in Killarney, but yeah. Anyway, let's see where this goes. Up on the other side of the ridge from down there, which is actually reasonably steep. I was down at that little intersection in the centre of the screen now before when I was videoing. Well, actually I was halfway up on that ridge over there when I was videoing before, but so there's nothing further up here, so I'm inclined to believe that that's the line. I'll go down and do another closer look at that from down that way, but yeah. Well, I come back down and that's looking directly along the ridge, and the interesting thing to see here is that concrete in their yard. I reckon that's the remnant of the old siding, and you can see a little bit of it over here as well. So pivoting around back towards Killarney, that's the remnant of the track running along the side there. Hard to see from this angle, but yeah, that's what I reckon it is. Okay, well I was just over there. Now I'm here sort of talking to horses who are pretty interested. But that's that line that's running along there. I'm pretty sure it's just shy of the trees. I'm pretty sure that's the railway line. It's nice and flat, and it's up above it's nice and straight. It keeps a decent elevation all the way along, and then it goes down through there into the back of Tannymorel, keeping a good elevation. Well, there you go. Well, to me, this is looking pretty much like a railway, or you know, in the old days, railway line that would have been one set of tracks, so there'd be, you know, it doesn't go both directions obviously. But this is it. This is here in Tannymorel, and so that's following the path that I was projecting. Now, if we just have a look over here, we can see that there's quite a distinct level crossing here, just up from the cenotaph there, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, you look at some of the buildings here, and it's obviously been set up as a gathering shed. I suspect that house wasn't there, but you can see there's a shed, big shed, just over. So just stepping out to one side a little bit, we can see the shed and the flatness of that mound along there. I reckon that's the old line going through there. Let's go out the other side of town. Plenty of room for flood to escape down that gully there. So yeah, let's go out and look at the other side of town and see what we find. Well, this is the other side of Tanny, and it's hard to be sure, but the shed over there I was at before is in the middle of the picture, but it looks like the railway track could come out and follow along that obviously raised section there in the middle of the picture, and then from there disappear around the side of this hill, and then might go between that gully and over there, but it's supposed to go to Swanfells from here, so I'm not entirely sure. Swanfells is more or less the opposite direction to what I'm looking at right now. By the way, for the interested today, that's the wheels that I'm using today, the MX60. It's a good little scoot. It's really well suited to this sort of role. I'm sort of half range testing it today as well, because in theory it should give me about 80 kilometers of this sort of stuff. Well, it looks like my supposition might be close to correct, because it looks remarkably like a section that's fenced on either side that looks like a road but isn't, that goes through a bit of a cutting off around to the right there. So previously it was, yeah, up there on that hill, looking down at that. I reckon it's a pretty reasonable supposition that that's where the track goes. See if I can find something further down. If I'm correct, it crosses just there where that's actually slightly risen, goes along there, does a bit of a turn on the other side of the trees, and then continues at a nice angle up there and around to the right, which would be a nice flat route out of town for, you know, a motor rail.